This setup is so cute. Hey guys, I'm Kyla and welcome back to my channel. Today I did a brow tutorial. I have had so many requests from people in my personal life to do a brow tutorial. I feel like a lot of people are just they don't know what to do when it comes to brows. So I hope that I help you to understand more about how to do your brows, and I just give you a few more tips on how to do brows so that you guys enjoy this video. If you would like to see how I do my brows, then please keep on watching. So the products that I use for my brows are all by Anastasia Beverly Hills, besides my tweezers. Tweezers, you don't really have to have them by Anastasia Beverly Hills. You can if you want to, but I just have some Sephora tweezers right here. Any tweezers will be fine as long as they're like pretty pointed. The more precise you have your tweezers, that's gonna be easier for you to maneuver your brow shape and to tweeze your eyebrows. So there's many different brow products, and me personally, since I do my brows daily and I've been doing my brows for a very long time, I know exactly what shape I want and I want them to be bolder. I use a pomade. So there's multiple different colors for pomades, and pomades are just harder to maneuver than would be for a powder or any other product. And so with this, you definitely have to go in with a light hand if you want a more natural brow. But for beginners, I would recommend using a powder, because powders are way more easy to work with, and if you mess up, it's really easy to correct it. With pomades, it can get messy really fast. It can get super dark and dramatic really fast. So definitely go and try a powder first. But since I do my brows every day and I know exactly how I like them, and I like them darker, I want to go in with something more heavy and more dramatic than a powder. So the products that I use is the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow pomade. It's like comes in a little pot like this with a lid. And I use dark brown. The tool that I use to apply my pomade is the Anastasia brush in 12. It has a nice tip like this, and then also has a spoolie, and you can bend it and maneuver it any way you'd like. But this is a super great brush to make your eyebrows look perfect. It's super small and fine, so it makes perfect hair-like strokes to make it super natural. So I've already tweezed my eyebrows, but I have not trimmed them yet. So be very careful when you trim your eyebrows, because once you cut them, they're cut for a while. Like, it'll take a while for them to grow back. So you can either have a professional do this, or just be super duper careful and know that once you cut it, it's cut, it's gone. So to trim my eyebrows, I like to take my spoolie and put all my hairs up. You can even go against your eyebrow like this, but then I'm gonna take small scissors like this, and I'm just going to snip what is above the shape of my eyebrow. Okay, just like that, I have my brows trimmed the way I want. You can also, instead of just trimming the top, you can also move them down like this and trim all those hairs. But I don't want it to be super thin, because it's gonna be a lot more work for me to fill them in. So a tip that I have for you guys is to tweeze your brows after you fill them in. This really helps you know what hairs you do and do not want, because you could tweeze too many brow hairs, and then when you do your brows, it's completely like bald, and you do not want that. So you just fill them in before, and then you tweeze the ones that are kind of just not the shape that you want, and then it just works perfectly fine. Also, if you like to grow your hair for your brows and you have super thin brows, so they're not as full as you'd like, you can also use castor oil and put that on your brows just like every night, and that will grow your hairs tremendously. That and coconut oil is what I used to do. You can do that on your eyelashes as well. You just put that mixture on like a spoolie, and you just comb it through your brows right before you go to bed, and they'll grow fairly fast. So now I'm gonna be doing my brows, and I'm gonna take my pomade like I said before. I'm actually gonna spritz it with a little bit of water. I want my pomade to be a little more liquid and softer, because after a while it gets a little hard, and that's perfectly fine, but I want it to be more creamy for me to apply it easier and spoolie it and maneuver it the way that I want it to be. I'm just gonna take my hairs and spoolie them up again. We all have our favorite or good brow, and this is definitely my good brow, so I'm gonna be doing this one. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of the pomade on my brush. I'm gonna make a line right under my brow, so it's gonna go all the way like this and down to the tail of my brow where I want my brow to end. I definitely don't want it to be super duper dark in the front. I want it to be more of a fade, so it's gonna be super light and natural in the front, and then it's going to get a little more dark and dramatic, but not too dark and dramatic at the end or the tail of my brow. So I'm gonna keep pulling this until I make it as long as I want. Now I'm going to push my brow hairs down, and then I'm going to make hair-like strokes to kind of fill it in right above the brow. So I'm just gonna keep going and pulling my arch a little bit up, and I'm gonna pull it to the end of my brow. It definitely looks a little scary and messy in the beginning, but once we clean it up with concealer, which is what I'm gonna do shortly, more clean, and it just makes it shape the face perfectly. So I'm just gonna take my spoolie now, and I'm just gonna go through my brow to make it less harsh. Then for my favorite part, I love sculpting out and carving my brows, and I like to do my brows before I do any part of my makeup, because then the concealer, I feel like it could ruin my eyeshadow if I do my brows after any step, and it can just leave like a line in your foundation, and I don't like that look personally, so I like to do mine before I do anything. So exactly what I'm doing right now. I haven't done any of my makeup, I'm doing my brows first. So next I'm going to take some concealer. I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape in Fair Neutral, and I'm taking a small brush like this, super tiny flat concealer brush, and I'm gonna put it right under my brow, right where I want my brow shape to be. I'm gonna take just a tiny bit, will go a long way. I'm gonna put it right under my brow. So take a little more. Just like that. This for me personally is a perfect eyebrow. Can you see the difference? It just makes it more full and more clean. I think brows are so important, and so you can see the difference. You don't have to do it super sharp and super clean. There's so many different brow shapes, and especially to your face. Make it however you would like to be. But yeah, this is just how I would do my brow. I would just make a good arch, and then I just clean up with concealer, and it looks usually just like this. And I also take my concealer and just kind of rub it into the eyebrow to make it more faded and natural, so that it's not super harsh. So yeah, this is just how I do my brows every day. Obviously, if I'm wearing less makeup, I will put like a more natural brow on, and I won't make it as dark. I'll make it less structured. But since I'm gonna be doing a full face of makeup later, I'm gonna be doing something more dramatic. Also, since I do my brows before I do any of my makeup, the powders will actually kind of get in your brows and make it a little more natural as well. So it's also really nice. And there's another tip. So if you just want, they look harsh in the beginning, that's totally fine, because it'll just dull down when you put all the powder on, and it'll just look more natural. And yeah, now that I have a full face of makeup on, I think that you guys can see now that it looks a little more toned down. The powders did make my eyebrows look a little more natural. I hope that you guys try these techniques and see that, you know, if it works for you or not. And just, you know, be more confident and comfortable with doing your brows. Try things out, and if it doesn't work, it's totally fine, but definitely try to do more with your brows, because they will just like shape your face and really just bring it to the next level and just make it look so much more complete. I hope that you guys like this video. I hope that you guys learned something and yeah, feel more comfortable doing your brows. So thank you guys so much for watching and I hope to see you guys next time.